Hi there guys, welcome to the show. This is Ere We Go. I've not done one of these episodes for a little while. I've not been really touching the Orks, so it made sense not to really be kind of doing content around a faction that I wasn't really kind of vibing with, doing much on. I've, since the last balance date slate, for teams related stuff and for some singles, I've been investigating the Orks. And I've kind of hit my stride again with it. So to start off lightly, I've come up with a video where I go through a load of the old Ork Epic Heroes, some that we've only just lost, some that we've not seen ever as a model, and theorise and kind of discuss why I think they should come back in some form for 11th edition. Right, so let's get started. So these are basically, they're either been, if they've had models, they've been Resin or Forge World. They've not been seen for multiple editions. A lot of them haven't been mentioned since like 4th edition. One guy got mentioned last in 8th edition. And then there's often things like Black Library novels that still touch on them and utilise them. Or the current codex, for example, Captain Badruck's mentioned in there, has a whole page, but he's not got a model, he's not got rules. So it looks like there could be the potential of them coming back as an upgraded plastic kit, perhaps. So right, let's get started on the first one. So this is pretty obvious. Boss Zagstruck. He first featured in the 3rd edition codex. I discovered this by actually going through, grabbing all my books. He obviously didn't have a model till I think it was 5th edition, where the model that then ran up until the index kind of stage of 10th edition. There is rumours floating around that there'll be a new Stormboy kit. If we do see that, great. If we do, it makes sense to have some sort of boss that can join them, if that's still a mechanic. Whenever he was mentioned from 3rd edition, there has always been the Vulture Boys, which are his like elite Stormboy unit. He's often led. To me, that feels like a great opportunity to give Orks Stormboys, but also then give them that and him. So you've got a couple of kind of different ways of showcasing fast moving infantry. I think that'd be great. He's been basically in books since 1999, so he's been around in Ork lore for 26 years. It feels appropriate for him not to disappear. I don't think any lore kind of suggests that he's died or anything like that. You never know. Right, then we've got, this is one of my favourite characters. This is Nazdreg Urdgrub. He is a Bad Moon Warlord, is how he was originally referred to. It was in the 2nd edition codex, and that's why he's called a Warlord, despite him being a war boss as well. So to me, this feels like an obvious thing where, at the moment, we've got the Monopose war boss in Mega Armor. If they do a multi-part kit, you do one half of it becomes Nazdreg, or you make him as a non-named guy. The last time he was seen, his Space Hulk that he had guys that helped him steer and they could dodge and weave and stuff. They were fighting against the Farsight Enclave. Something went wrong with some weird gizmos of the Ork tech, and they got sucked into a portal whilst they were fighting Farsight himself. He last got given a model, the one that's shown on screen here, in 1997. That's been it. He's featured in a load of the codexes. He's always seemed to be kind of quite popular. It was the first time we saw Mega Knobs that weren't the OG ones that almost look like we're in Space Marine gear. So it's like that model, I was like, oh cool, I want to see more of that. And then we never quite saw that until they got the nice plastics that are now showing their age. So maybe they do that new multi-pose kit at the same time as updating them. You never know, right? It seems like an opportunity. Right, next one. Captain Badruck himself. So this is an interesting one. So we lost his model this edition because obviously it's an old resin model. Really beautiful model, really thematic. This is the weird one. I was looking through, there was 2 books during Rogue Trader for Orks. There was Ere We Go, which was their kind of army book per se, and then there was a follow-up book called Freebooters. I have a really scabby looking copy of said book that I bought at a Wargames show years and years ago, and it's called Space Orks Army Lists. It's full of really cool stuff, like it's got Ork genes to the hybrids, it's got all sorts of shenanigans in it. He features in it, and that model there on the left-hand side is actually a conversion. So he's the first named character Orks had listed in a book that I can find. and have an example of a model. Originally, that gun is based off an Ogren Ripper gun. So to me, like, if they're going to do something new with them, there's that opportunity. Back in 2nd and 3rd edition, you could have Ogrens as part of your army. They were often just allies. So to me, there's an opportunity there that you could have them go, oh, cool, we've got flash kits as well. But you have like an Ogren bodyguard, maybe have like a little group of 2 of them with them or something. And just, it's a cool excuse to do something a bit weird and different. But you never know. He got a page in the 10th edition codex. So I feel like the decision to remove his model was probably because it's Finecast, not because they wanted to get rid of him. So it's more of a waiting him out. So I feel like he's quite likely. So, and then we've got Mad Doc Grochnik. Again, this was a metal model that was made during 3rd edition, when Ghazghkull got his glow up into his big mega armor. So he first appeared in the 2nd edition book, where he is described in rebuilding Ghazghkull for the first time. He also was there when Ragnar Blackmane killed Gaz outright at the end of, I want to say this was end of 8th. He found the bits of Gaz, rebuilt him with a reincarnated Makari, because Makari is just a reincarnation each time. So he comes back, goes into a new body, and he's the same little grot. So those 2 brought him back. So to me, like, that feels like he's so integral to the Ork lore since 2nd edition, so like 1992. And more importantly, not long after the book for 10th edition dropped, taking him out of the codex, all this sort of stuff, they did a book about him in Black Library. You don't release books if you're not intending for a character to carry on. Again, he's a Death Skull character, so this then goes into the kind of thing that I'm noticing is that there's gaps in all the different clans being represented, so perhaps that's their way of showcasing them. Obviously, he's not quite, Death Skull. Then we got, this is one of my favourite guys that never got a model, is Wazdakka Gutsmech. So he was a big mech who also was a bike boy, so he liked riding a bike. He gets featured actively in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th codexes. I don't know about 5th, because weirdly I don't have a 5th codex because it was in my wilderness years. Never had his own model. Saw a lot of really cool conversions. People often used the Ork Warboss on a bike as him, just because that's what I wanted to do once that 4-droid model came out. I feel like he's going to stick around and be utilised somewhere, because he's got a paint named after him, guys. Wazdakka Red is not just named after just anyone, it's after him. And it's cool, man. And like, yes, we've got things like the Deathkiller War Trike. It's not the same. It needs to be Wazdakka. And then this is the real fringe case that I don't imagine they're going to bring back, but wouldn't it be flipping lush? Like, Old Zogwart was featured in the 4th edition book. He still gets mentioned in the 8th edition book as well. And his big shtick is he was a bit of a weird boy that's a bit unusual, and his magical power that he used, warp energy and war energy and all that sort of shenanigans for, was to transform people into squigs. So I can just see him like fighting with a demon prince, and he goes, bam, you're a squig now. That's so cool. That doesn't feel very modern Warhammer, but at the same time, why can't we? Like, why can't I turn all their witches, or turn in, like, Abaddon's fighting near him and he goes, bam, you're a squig now. Problem solved. You're welcome, Imperium. I think that'd just be cool, man. Like, goofy, silly, sure. The rule specifically as well, what I love is when I was reading the rule in 4th edition, it said, like, you have to supply a squig model for them to utilise if you do this. So it was like, oh, cool. It puts the onus on you. Like, so clearly everyone was like, right, I'm going to buy a load of squigs, probably the fancy ones, the cool ones with the horns, and I'll paint them up just in case this happens. And it's like, to me, that's what Orks is about. That is cool. Right, and then we got, this is one that doesn't really, I think, have much legs on it, but Tusker Demon Killer. This is a guy that was featured the first time in the 4th edition codex. He was so angry for a crumpin in a fight, he set a war off into the Eye of Terror to find something to fight. He then found a demon prince called the Blood Prince, funny enough, Cornate, and fought against him. A bunch of his weird boys distracted him long enough that he could do a killer blow to this Blood Prince right between the legs. Yep. As a result, all gets overwhelmed, dies. But don't worry, Korn goes, this guy's kind of fun. I'm going to keep him. And so literally lives through this loop of just fighting and just keeps going. And it's cool. Like, to me, that's such a cool guy that literally an Ork's happy, Khorne's happy, everyone wins. And to me, that's such a cool opportunity for a model. Having like a kind of warp-tainted Ork that is just there going, I just want to have some crumping. Be super cool. But I don't think it'll happen, but I would love for it to happen. Because it's one of my favourite stories is Tusker Demon Killer. So, yeah. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I know it's a short one. This is me getting just back on the horse, or back on the squig hog, shall we say, with the Ork stuff. I'm at an event this weekend. I'm at the Battle of Britain, which is a WTC format kind of teams event where a lot of new recruits, old guard and everyone kind of get together and play all their countries and just kind of get a feel for it. I'm taking the Orks, so I'm going to do an event report for that next week, and I'll kind of go into a detail of what I took, why I took it, how I took it, and how it went, and whether I shouted "Waaagh" like a horrible human being. Until next time, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Become a YouTube member if you would like to. It really helps us. And write something in the comments like, what's your favourite character? And it doesn't have to be an Ork, but I probably will only answer if it's about an Ork. Until next time, guys, take care.